What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist here with
Gershwan.
And guess what? We're back at it again, answering more questions in another episode of For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. Also, if you enjoy our content and you want to support the channel, you can with the super thanks. If you do, ask us anything you want and we will answer it guaranteed in the next episode. But this question comes from Musica Player. Do you guys think Games Workshop is screwing us over by reprinting minis? So yes, that's the latest controversy within 40K.
Yeah, so if you guys haven't heard, basically if you look at a lot of the Space Marine sculpts, they're not new sculpts. They're kind of like repurposed and have different types of heraldry to say, okay, this is Blood Angels, this is Iron Hands, this is Dark Angels. But when you look at it closely, like the main core of the sculpt, like they're all the same.
Yeah, so the stance is the same for the Blood Angels captain as like all the other captains, which is basically just an extended arm and like holding either a sword, a shield, or some sort of thing. And I think the problem is that we also see that with the hero poses.
Oh,
of like
one knee higher than the other. They're like on a rock. And it's like, I feel like when they went with the Primaris route, in order to get all the detail and stuff, they're like, all right, let's stick with like 3 dynamic poses and run with it.
Yeah.
And I don't like that at all.
And I think it sucks too because like if we like we're old school players, so we know that there's reprints of like the same thing over and over again, and it's no big deal, especially because we're playing 40K, which is supposed to be a big scale game or a large scale game. So having orcs that all kind of look the same, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's a mob, it's a horde, that kind of thing.
Yeah, the mono poses aren't a big deal when you've got a huge squad of them.
But when you're dealing with individual HQ models or leadership models, whatever they're called nowadays, like that sucks. And it makes me not want to buy characters. I mean, this controversy specifically doesn't make me want, or doesn't stop me from doing that. Because even when like Gilliman came out, I don't think the models are that like amazing. I even think that whoever's sculpting for Age of Sigmar is doing way better than 40K. The Prophet of the Horned Rat.
Oh,
have you
my
seen
goodness.
that model?
When I saw that, I'm like, why are we not having Skaven in 40K?
Yeah, like they're doing it right. Whereas Games Workshop, specifically with the Space Marines, it seems like so vanilla, so bland.
Especially when you look at the newest Inquisitor Cotias, like he looks unfinished.
Yeah.
Compared to what his model used to look like. I mean, yeah, it was a little like squatty, but the detail was there. He looked imposing, and now it's like he's watered down.
Yeah. So what does that mean for the future? I think Games Workshop should go back to creating the kits where like you could customize it, you know, however you see fit. Because the old Space Marine models gave you room to like really like move the arms and stuff like that, because you got a torso, arms, feet, and then the head. Whereas now, usually like the torso part is connected to the hand, which means that you have to set it in this way. Does it look better?
Yeah, I mean, there are ways around it. Like you could always like cut it and then like green stuff it. And not every model looks like this. If you look at the newest Blood Angel one for Le Martis, that looks imposing. He's got like a almost Wolverine-esque type of pose. He's almost like hunching over, which you don't see that very often. Because obviously I feel like whenever it's some type of named character, you want to see them in like a glorious heroic pose instead of one where it's like, oh, I can't really see his chest too good. And wait, is that a ball gag in his mouth? So, I mean, they hit probably, what would you say, around the same time as they miss? As much.
And well, I think now they're missing more than they're hitting, and part of the reason for that is the competition that they're getting from companies like, is it Hero Forge, the one where you can kit bash your own or like customize your own, your D&D character. It's the same poses. They have a bunch of poses you could choose from on Hero Forge, but in reality, there's only 2 or 3 that are cool. The other ones are very, very specific of like, oh, the dude's laying on the floor, or the dude's like charging like this or whatever. So I think that's what Games Workshop is doing. So I wonder if they gave designers more creative freedom, they would get better models, but who knows?
Yeah. all in all, I think you could kind of subvert this lack of creative posing with like a better paint scheme, or maybe even like making the base more thematic. I think that'll really make the model stand out.
Yeah, I really like the Necron bases from the Indominus Crusade, where you have all the Necron like bodies and stuff.
On the floor.
Yeah, that's cool. Good question. Next one.
This one's by Guild of Noobs. If you can adopt one creature from 40K to be your pet, which one would it be? But it has to be non-humanoid.
Non-humanoid, okay.
So two things came to mind. One was a squig, but I feel like that's just like having a pit bull with rabies at all times. So I'll go with my second one. And unfortunately, it's one that we lost in the newest codex for the Inquisition. And that is the Jokero Weaponsmith.
That's humanoid.
Is he?
He's an orangutan. He's an ape.
But it's not like, oh, I got a Sister of Battle as my pet, or I got a Dark Eldar as my pet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess an orangutan. How big is a Jokero Weaponsmith compared to a human? Do you know?
I feel like they're maybe about half as tall as a human.
Yeah, because orangutans are like significantly bigger than us.
Mm-hmm. Especially the ones from Jungle Book.
Yeah. That'd be cool. So you have somebody that is 10 times more smart or intelligent than you, cannot speak, and has digital weapons.
Yeah. So basically, I'm his pet.
Yeah. That's a good one. Damn. Because then in that case, I would just choose a Gretchen. Because might makes right. I could just abuse the Gretchen to make sure that it follows my order. Oh, but then that means I have to fight it every morning.
That's true, yeah.
Just to put it in its place. The problem with Squigs and Gretchen, though, is that they release spores, so you're going to have more of them. Maybe that's not a good choice.
Yeah, so if I were to choose something else, probably a Kroot Hawk.
Yeah.
Anything Kroot related looks really cool, and I think I believe it's the newest sculptor, the Shaper. He's actually got like a hawk on his shoulder.
Yeah.
That looks really badass. So probably one of those, especially if you've seen the newest Planet of the Apes. They got hawks too.
Yeah, those things are cool. That's a really good one, and it makes me think of maybe the eagle that the new Inquisitor has. But I don't think that's an eagle. I think that's a familiar, if I remember the lore correctly. So can I choose a familiar? Because then in that case, yeah, I'll choose a familiar.
Yeah.
Which is familiar is just a half robot, half human hybrid thing.
Like a cherub.
Yeah.
Almost like a servitor, kind of.
With some type of element of psychic power.
Dude, having a Watcher in the dark, I think that'd be pretty cool.
I don't know what those things are though. Like I wonder when they remove their hood, if what is it? Is it Bridget B or is it?
It could be anything.
A gremlin. Next question.
This one is by Dale TND. Do you guys have any videos on building models? If not, what channels are good and would you recommend for that? I have an Orc Combat Patrol and it's a lot harder than I expected.
I actually responded to you. So if you jump over to the One Mind Syndicate page, we have hobby videos where we teach you guys, or not, we don't, we never dedicated ourselves to hobby videos just because that's not what viewers wanted. We just like did lore. But yeah, I have like kit bashing, Adeptus Mechanicus stuff, Orc stuff, Tau stuff. So yeah, it's on there on the channel.
And one of the cool things about the kit bashes on there is that like you could just use anything. Paper mache, foam board, even rocks. I've seen you use just bits of cardboard and it comes out really amazing, especially if you're focusing on something like ragtag, orc encampments. It really comes out sweet.
Yeah, what I would recommend if you have the patience for it is look up people that work with green stuff, because if you can master green stuff, you can pretty much convert anything you want because you get to build whatever pieces the kit might be missing or whatever. It's just difficult because what I have found is that a lot of the green stuff content creators have really long drawn out episodes that you just can't you can't get into it. And then recently I've been looking at more hobby videos. I would say that most of the time whenever you have painting tutorials or building tutorials, if you are a content creator that films like the time-lapse type of scenarios where it's just like background music and then you just painting and stuff like that, from personal experience and from watching that type of content, it's not good. Like, make it more cinematic, kind of like Squidmarg does. I think that's his name, but things like that.
Yeah, especially if you're trying to like go step by step, it might be a little bit difficult trying to do the same like mixing techniques when you're not really up to par. So definitely I'd say look at a bunch of different painting videos, go through different techniques, and see what you think you can accomplish instead of just saying, this is exactly how I want my army to look like. Let me jump right in.
Yeah. And then also another good resource is Pete the Wargamer. I think Pete the Wargamer is one of my favorite for converting.
Oh, yeah.
And his videos are entertaining. Like I watch them all the way through. So, but yeah, next question.
This one is by Dario Stabletop Miniatures. Thank you for this one. Deathwatch is still standing. As long as I play 40K, I will keep on playing the Deathwatch. It is a labor of love when the Deathwatch came out. So, yeah, I mean, we've seen that the Deathwatch might be going away with that newest codex since they got kind of lopped in with the Inquisitor Agents one. But I think the codex has been leaked completely now. And from what I've seen, it seems like they're keeping their codex.
Yeah, but they're not adding any new models or anything like that.
We'll see, man. I don't know.
Or we are getting models?
I mean, because GW said every codex that comes out will be getting new models. And the model for the Inquisitorial Agents was Kotias.
Yeah.
So maybe when it gets around to the Deathwatch, they'll be getting a new model. But we'll have to wait and see.
But the Deathwatch, I thought were going to get rolled over into the Inquisitor.
No, from what we've seen in the leaks of the codex, it seems that you could only run like one army. It's like based on detachments and it's based on points, but it looks like maybe one or two squads of something other than Inquisitorial Agents can be run in there.
But we are getting a Deathwatch codex in this?
It seems like we are.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. And those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. And I hope you guys are enjoying the videos.
That's right. Keep those questions coming, and so will we. And as always, it's been the Sound Alchemist here with
Gersh1.
And we are out.
Always used to put my freedom first.